Hey, Dóri here for Gamereactor, here with Bengt at E3. We've just come out of the Ubisoft press conference, and we also did EA earlier today, and we're going to recount both of those really quickly for you, right here, right now.
Really quickly, like 20 games, very quickly.
So, starting off with EA, go.
Yep. So I was, first of all, I was surprised by EA. I felt they brought it this time. They had some dull moments, perhaps a little bit heavy on the sports and mobile sides that, sort of got the show a little bit stalled, but they did bring out the big guns. Mass Effect Andromeda, first thing out. I'm floored. That's exactly what I wanted to see from them. Very excited about that game. Feels like, it's a new galaxy, of course, a new storyline, everything like that. But it feels like the trailer sort of hinted that it's going to be very exploration heavy. The rover is back in there, and just looking at it, I get the sense that these are sort of more barren worlds, more alien worlds, and worlds that you need to explore. And I think that's a great way of going for it after sort of maybe streamlining that a little bit in the last few Mass Effects and sort of getting back to that exploration heavy gameplay. And I would love to see that personally. So maybe I'm just wishful thinking here, but that's what I would love to see from it. Of course, just a teaser. We're not expecting a lot of news here at E3, more from Mass Effect Andromeda. But I'm super excited about that. Holiday 2016.
They also showed off Need for Speed, the definitive version. They seem to think they're
like a remix.
Yeah, the remix. They're bringing in from all the different Need for Speeds, dropping any subtitles, just called Need for Speed. They showed some of the customization options and talked about how they're going to be mixing in the story with your exploration, driving around with your crew, and all that sweet stuff. And it looked pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I took away. Is just like that looked amazing. Like I'm not a big racing game fan, but if it looks that good, I might have to play it. That's for sure. And I am a fan of the Need for Speed kind of experience. So I'm hopeful that they're sort of with this added development time that they've been able to sort of really floor it this time. So yeah. Surprising to me. The next game, huge surprise, Unrivaled. Something a little bit different from EA, from a studio, Coldwood Interactive, that I was not expecting this from. They did a game called Fight Lights Out for PlayStation 3, PlayStation Move, that wasn't received all that well. They've done some other sort of snow cross racing games, I think, in the past, but this is something very innovative and unique and interesting that they're doing. Very much a metaphor, the red thread that goes throughout life, throughout the game. Yeah, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I think it was really nice. Very atypical, as you said, for EA. It's more like an indie game, but I mean, this is also another thing that I want to mention about the EA. They were all about the kind of these personal touches with the games. Like they brought out the creative director of the game, and he was talking about his story, creating the character and running around in the woods with a figure that he created himself. Later on, when they talked about Star Wars Battlefront, they brought out the executive producer, and she was talking about her old Star Wars memories. They're kind of like, yeah, these are the people behind the games, kind of thing. And it really worked for Unrivaled because it really looks like this small little indie darling released by a big publisher.
Absolutely, and that was something we missed from Ubisoft. I mean, Ubisoft are usually the big publisher who have those kind of games from the UbiArt framework studios and stuff like that. But none of that at Ubisoft, but we're going to take Ubisoft a little bit later because we got a couple of more games from EA. Garden Warfare 2. We already talked about that after the Microsoft thing. I'm super happy that they're bringing out a co-op mode for zombies. There's going to be solo play, local split screen with all the modes, which is very good news. I think this is the kind of game that, sure, it's great online, but a lot of kids play it, and a lot of kids don't play that much online. So good to have that in there as well. I think
they also showed off the new characters. What, 5 new characters?
6, I think it's 3 on each side, and you can import all your old ones from the first game that you've unlocked. So that's great news. I've unlocked quite a few. So yeah, I think the concept is so great that I'm delighted to see it back, and I'm curious to see how they're going to take it on. And once again, they're going to bring out a lot of free updates. They promised that straight out of the gate now, and so looking forward to that for sure.
Next up, there were a couple of games we knew were coming, but very happy to see.
Yes.
First off, Mirror's Edge.
Mirror's Edge Catalyst, you know, the sort of the reinvented concept for Mirror's Edge. Open world this time, I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, open world and no loading screens. And yeah, basically, yeah, an open world first-person parkour experience.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you know, heavy emphasis on narrative. I think the look and the feel of the game, I mean, I'm excited to play that, and it's playable here at E3, so certainly going to spend some time with that. Of course, the big finale, we can't avoid it. It's unavoidable here at E3, Star Wars Battlefront.
And EA knew it as well, because they stretched out the show and, oh, don't leave yet, because right at the end they dropped Star Wars Battlefront.
Like the first thing they said is that that's gonna be the finale. So yeah, very interesting stuff, and looked amazing. We got to see like a Walker Assault mission where you know you got to switch between the two sides, and of course it finished with Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, version of in the snow at Hoth. Yeah, really. Really looks really amazing, and also playable here, so gonna be interesting. And I think it's a beta coming up as well. But yeah, they were happy to show in-game finally, proper in-game stuff. But I think that's it for EA.
Yeah. Moving on to Ubisoft, I mean, they started up with a new IP.
Yeah, For Honor, and it was Red Steel producer extravaganza man Jason van der Berg who was on on stage talking about it. It's sort of we got it a little bit late. We got to admit that. So we got in a couple of minutes late. So it was already sort of in full flight when we arrived here. Sort of pits Vikings and Knights and Samurais against each other in sort of a multiplayer melee-heavy combat thing. Hard to say much more than that because we didn't really see much more than that. So
but I am going to be. I think, hopefully, it says in the invitation secret game, so yeah. I'm guessing that's going to be it. But later on tonight, hands-on.
Yep. So we'll know more then. What else? Ubisoft, they had, of course, they had the big three that we already knew about. Rainbow Six Siege. We got to see some of the single-player co-op thing, the Terror Hunt. You played that yesterday.
Yeah, I played that. We have an interview on that we filmed yesterday that's up on the site right now with some of my gameplay.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We don't really know.
But yeah, it's, happy to say that I was top of my team all 3 rounds.
Yes.
So.
And also The Division. I played some of that. The Dark Zone stuff that he showed off here. Very interesting gameplay where it sort of mixes PvE, PvP in sort of a way where you're never quite sure what the other agents might be thinking or doing, and you sort of, it's sort of an interesting thing where you can choose to go rogue, kill other agents, get their loot, and extract and win that. But of course, if you're killed and you're rogue, you get none of the loot that you've collected, so there's a risk-reward system there that's really nice.
Yeah. What else did we have?
The big one. What was that? Assassin's Creed Syndicate?
Yeah,
we can't really talk about that because there was only a CG trailer. Obviously, extremely gorgeous and nice, well-directed as always from Ubisoft, but a little bit weird that we didn't get to see proper game.
Yeah. Why no gameplay? The game is coming out pretty damn soon.
Yes, and they showed that. That was the first thing they showed. So. Well, maybe they just, for the sake of time, I don't know. We got a new game, or like, well, I should say, Trackmania is coming to new-gen consoles, to PS4 and Xbox One. You know, as always, it's Trackmania. Very interesting to see how the sort of the console audience take to it. But yeah, the creativity and. They had some sort of random...
yeah, you press one button on the controller and it randomizes the terrain, then builds the track and adds in scenery. And then you can just play it right away. That looked pretty damn cool. Also coming out, this new DLC for Trials Fusion, where you're a cat on a unicorn.
Fire-breathing unicorn, yeah. That is sort of like the Blood Dragon version of Trials DLC, I think. What else did we get? Well, we got a big finale, of course. But do we have something else to talk about?
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. I was going to mention that the Just Dance preview was too long. I mean, EA had some of that as well. Even though I love Pele, the whole thing with Pele on stage just felt kind of out of place. Yes. But let's not focus on the negatives. No. Let's go straight for the big finale. Ubisoft did it again. They dropped a huge game on us with no word. We had no idea.
What do we say? Is Ghost Recon going sort of? I don't know. Is it going GTA or what is it doing? Ghost Recon Wild Cards, was it?
Wildlands. Yeah, it's open world. You're fighting drug cartels in South America, and it seemed that it was also showing that you would be playing in Europe and all that. I don't know how that's going to work in a huge open world.
Yeah, and a lot of vehicles and stuff. So interested to see just how the sort of the Ghost Recon gameplay translate to an open world. You know, it's not something that I would think of immediately, like this is a perfect fit, because of the sort of the tactical gameplay that is inherent in Ghost Recon is a little bit slower.
And then they showed in the trailer that like 3 different approaches. You know, there's a sneak attack, and there's a total sneak where you don't leave any, you know, anything behind, or you know, full frontal assault, just kill everyone.
Yeah. Which doesn't feel like a Ghost Recon way of doing things, of course, but yeah, I mean, it sort of capped the whole show that this was very much sort of the Tom Clancy E3 press conference for Ubisoft. I don't think they've gone as heavy on Tom Clancy ever before, without even using Splinter Cell. Got Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six, and The Division, so that was a lot of the focus here, and it was a good show. But for me, this year, I think actually may have been edged by EA. Just for, well, mainly for me, for Mass Effect, Garden Warfare, and Mirror's Edge, as well as Star Wars. I think that was a very sort of strong lineup, strong statements. And after a very weak year last year, EA are sort of back in it.
And with that, it looks like they're just about done cleaning up the place around us here and giving us the evil eye. So I think we need to get out of here. Going to Sony later on tonight. See you then.